call to order the November 10th, 2025 meeting of the Henderson County Board of Public Education. Please rise as we have a presentation of our flag.
Bar time. March. Bar. Halt. Left. Face. Commissioner, post colors. Post.
Colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Center. Face. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Many thanks to the West Henderson JROTC under the direction of Chief Bailey. Now, if you will, please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Board members, you have the agenda before you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? Agenda has been approved. The first item on our agenda this evening is a special resolution honoring the late Mr. Robert Bridges. So at this time, is Mrs. Bridges with us and son Michael? You would please come down. And I have the honor of reading the resolution for Mr. Bridges. Whereas Mr. Robert Bridges faithfully dedicated his life to public education in Henderson County, beginning his career in 1968 as an elementary teacher at Dana Elementary School, and throughout his service always demonstrated a passion for teaching and guiding young people. And whereas Mr. Bridges served the students and families of Henderson County in many roles, including a teacher at Rugby Junior High, assistant principal and counselor at Flat Rock Middle School, and a high school guidance counselor at East Henderson High School, where he concluded his distinguished career as a beloved advocate for students. And whereas in 2020, Mr. Bridges was elected by the citizens of Henderson County to the Henderson County Board of Public Education, where he continued his lifelong commitment to service. And whereas in 2024, Mr. Bridges was reelected to the Board of Public Education, and his peers entrusted him with the role of vice chairman, where he provided thoughtful leadership and worked tirelessly to advocate to advance educational opportunities for all students. And whereas Mr. Bridges' legacy is one of integrity, dedication, and service, impacting the generations of students, educators, and families, and and families across Henderson County. And whereas the Henderson County Board of Public Education recognizes the profound loss felt by the entire educational community and wishes to honor Mr. Bridges' life, service, and contribution. Now therefore be it resolved that the Henderson County Board of Public Education does hereby express its deepest appreciation for the life and service of Mr. Robert Bridges and extends heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and colleagues. Be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into permanent minutes of the Henderson County Board of Public Education on this 10th day of November 2025 as a lasting tribute to his memory and his enduring impact on public education. You will just hold one moment. Mrs. Bridges, I just want to say that I know, because we are all board members, how important your service is and support and allowing him to serve his community and his school. So thank you for all your hard work and time and effort.
So one thing we do for retiring board members is we honor them with a gift, and they typically receive that when they resign or retire from the board. So we wanted to make sure that Mr. Bridges got his and that you're able to display this and remember us. And just a small part of what we had, but we appreciate his contribution to everything Henderson County Public Schools for all those many years.
He would be so honored.
Would you like to say anything, Mrs. Bridges or Michael?
I just want to say thank you to everybody for honoring Dad. He led by example, and he served from the heart. He didn't do anything for himself to bring attention to himself. To see him struggle with his health, but to keep going every day, he just kept, he was like the Energizer Bunny. He didn't know how to stop. But no, thank you very much. And, I think he's a good example. Kind of made me check myself a little bit to ask myself, how was I serving in the community? So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. A true example for all of us to live by, I think. And Mr. Bridges did attend many, many events, even when I know that he was not able to do so. And Norma would bring him there, drop him off, and come pick him back up. And thank you so much for your service and your support of him in his role here. Okay, moving on, we now are at our staff and student recognition portion.
So we are certainly excited to be in November, and this year, instead of being late with our meeting because of Veterans Day, we're the night before Veterans Day. So we were able to share our wall of honor. This is something that has traditionally been done here, and Ms. Kimberly Arrowood, our public information officer, has put this together with the help of some folks around the county. So we have our wall of honor, and we want to read these names, and these are our HCPS folks who have served or are serving as part of our U.S. Armed Services. So we will go by branch, and I feel like this is worth reading every name on this list, so I'm going to take a little time to do that. So in the U.S. Air Force, we have Jack Hogue at West Henderson High, Tony Knapp with Technology, Gary Bay at Upward Elementary, Christopher Clark at North Henderson High School, Brenda Mathers here in our Human Resources Department at the CO, and Colonel Runquist, who you see typically every month, and they are actually out doing an activity tonight, and he is at North Henderson High School, he and Sergeant Clark. U.S. Army, we have Keith Dees from West Henderson High School, Phyllis Bailey, Bruce Drysdale Elementary, Josh Grasso with our Transportation Department, Philip Hosmer at East Henderson High School, Lonnie Hunter at Rugby Middle, Autumn Lowe, West Henderson High School, and Matthew Metcalf, who is one of our great resource officers. Also continuing with the U.S. Army, Marvin Featherstone, Hendersonville High School, Arthur Kelly with the Career Academy, Tom Ammons, who is another school resource officer, Richard Gardner with Maintenance and Facilities, Zach Dickman with our school, another resource officer, Randy Hancock with Maintenance and Facilities, Wayne Buckner, Flat Rock Middle School, and Mike Bailey with West Henderson High School. And Chief Bailey was here just a few moments ago. U.S. Navy, we have Shaquana Jackson, Hendersonville Elementary, Patrick Kling, Clear Creek Elementary, and Fred Pyle Lida. We had a good little nickname in there, Apple Valley Middle School. U.S. Marine Corps, we have Beverly Myers with our child care, Angela Jacetta with Glenn Marlowe and Rugby Middle and West Henderson High School, serving all three of those. Josh Rogers with East Henderson High School, Doris Rojas, Bruce Drysdale Elementary, Thomas Bush, Hendersonville Middle. So if we can, let's go back and give all of our Wall of Honor recognition. Anyone who would like to see that list is on our website, and it will be up there for quite a while, so you can go and read through those names, take some screenshots, send them to those folks if you know them, let them know how much we appreciate their service, not only to our community now, but their community and the nation at large in the armed forces. Our recognitions this month are pretty short, but we wanted to recognize 3 teachers. We talk about not being selfish in the school district, and we were selfish this time, and this is one of those things where we're happy we were selfish. The other night at the North Carolina Science Teachers Association's Professional Development Institute at the Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem, we had 3 teachers honored for their excellence in science instruction and dedication to students across North Carolina. The North Carolina Science Teachers Association is the state's largest organization of science educators committed to advancing and improving science teaching at all grade levels. The annual Professional Development Institute offers more than 120 sessions, hands-on learning experiences, and networking opportunities for educators statewide. We're proud to celebrate these outstanding teachers for their commitment to science education and their lasting impact on Henderson County. So they do a Region 8 Outstanding Science Teaching Award for elementary, middle, and high school. They do this in all 8 regions. They do 1 for elementary, 1 for middle, and 1 for high school. Well, we had the teacher who won the elementary, we had the teacher who won the middle, and we had the teacher who won the high school. So we certainly want to honor these 3 fine educators. So if Ms. Tara Hammond from Hillendale Elementary will come up. Mr. Tony Campbell from Flat Rock Middle. And Miss Amy Zalewski from West Henderson High School. So standing before you is a lot of science knowledge, so anything you want to know, raise your hand. We certainly congratulate the 3 of you for not just winning the award, but what you really do each and every day to share a love of science when they're getting started, to show that relevance of science as they come through middle school, and then to get them really ready to push forward after they get into high school. So you see the maturation process standing here before you, and could not be prouder of the job that you do each and every day. So now we would need to get a great picture over here, so congratulations. We
We'd also like to send a shout out to Tom Savage at the Early College.
So a little bit shorter than normal, but just as powerful. So thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. Okay, now we are ready for our program highlight. And Dr. Morrow, you come forward and introduce. Our program highlight is this month is about our Class 2 Club from the Boys and Girls Club.
It is, and it is amazing to think that a year ago at this time, we were still recovering from Hurricane Helene, and one of our schools was actually calling the Boys and Girls Club home during that time. So Atkinson Elementary was still at Boys and Girls Club at this time last year. And we decided that this year we wanted to highlight something that Boys and Girls Club continues to do to benefit our schools, but that community partnership is so valuable. So they are going to share with you something new that they have started in the last 2 years, I think now. And so I'm going to hand it over to Jessica Riley and Carlos Vega.
Welcome.
Hi. Like she said, I'm Jessica Riley. I'm the Director of Programs at the Boys and Girls Club.
And I'm Carlos Vega. I'm the Director of Operations.
So at Henderson County Public Schools, we have a program that we call Class to Club, which is where we employ full-time employees, and half of their day is spent in Henderson County Public Schools, and then the other half of their day is spent at the Boys and Girls Club with us. So while a lot of this is academic focused, it also we also prioritize mentoring the students and translations for the schools. How do I switch it? Okay, this right? Okay, perfect. Okay, so just a little bit about the Boys and Girls Club. Our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. We strive to provide our members with safer childhoods, life-enhancing programs, and caring mentors. So at the club, some of those programs look like Power Hour, which is our academic enrichment rotation, STEM, arts, Triple Play, which is like our gym rotation, and then also we have Class to Club. So academics at the Boys and Girls Club, we have a large list. Like I said, Power Hour is the academic enrichment rotation, so we focus on previewing material for them, enhancing materials that they're learning in the schools, or reviewing material that they're learning in the schools. So we have access to the Henderson County Public Schools pacing guides, so we use that to train our leads in order to make sure that our Power Hours are in line with what they're learning in their schools. And we've also had meetings with the instructional coaches to talk to them about what they feel like is needed most at the club and how we can best support the schools at the club. We have a homework club, which is where it's optional, but it's really just if they have homework, they need to go. And we create this productive space for them to complete their homework, and then once they're finished, they're able to go back to the rotation and continue in everything else that we're doing. We get tutoring referrals from the teachers. We have meetings with our principals at least once a year. We try to go a little bit more if we can, especially with our Class to Club principals. And we have member report card monitoring, which we get with the parental permissions as deemed by Henderson County Public Schools. And then we have Class to Club. Okay. So our Class to Club, it's really a little bit different for every school because before we placed someone in the Henderson County Public Schools, we met with the principals to ask them what they needed, what they wanted, what would benefit their school the most. So I'm going to put the pictures of our Class to Club up staff as I talk about what they're doing in the schools. So we have Mr. Brian, and he's at Bruce Drysdale. And while he's there, he does a lot of mentoring. So Jason Joyce will call him if there's a member or a student that needs help just behaviorally, and he'll talk to them. And then at the club, he is our 6th grade lead. So he runs Power Hours for our 6th graders, and he does all the planning and all of that. At Upward, Miss Lisa is a tutor, and then at the club, she is also a tutor. Alex is at Clear Creek, and she works with every single grade, and she does a little bit of everything in the different grades. So she'll do small group with UFly, she'll do like individual work as they're working individually. She'll pull some kids for tutoring, and then she also does some translations at Clear Creek. Mr. Manny is working at Dana, and he does a little bit of the same thing where he'll go into schools. He does a little bit of everything. So he'll go into the classrooms and he'll pull kids and help them individually or in small groups. He does tutoring, he does some translations, and he does some mentoring at Dana. And then at the club, he is our MST support staff. So he works with checking kids out, talking to the parents, doing all of that. And then Miss Adriana is at Anyville, and she is again, does a lot of the small group work. She does translations, and then at the club, she is also a tutor. And then I forgot to say that Alex is our homework club lead at the club. All right, so, skipping that. All right, so combined, our Classic Club staff serve up to 450 kids during the school day. With that individual work or that mentoring. And then at the club, they serve up to 90 kids. So out of the 450 kids that they serve at the school, only about a fourth of those are our members. So they are working with anybody within the school system. And they help with that line of communication between the schools and the club. So if there's behavior problems that they're seeing, that especially with our members, they're able to bring that back to the club and talk to us about it. Or if there's academic things that they're seeing, they're able to come and talk to us about it, as well as the other way around. So like if there's something that we're seeing at the Boys and Girls Club behaviorally, like they can go back and they can be like, hey, so-and-so had a really bad day. Just kind of like be prepared for today. And then Classic Club gives our members a consistent adult that they get to see every day that cares about them and knows that they are advocating for them. So here are a few quotes. I'm just going to leave this up kind of to look at, but I wanted to point out a couple. The first one we have is from Miss Amy Cleveland from Dana. She said that Mr. Davila's dedication and compassion embody what it means to give back, and his impact will continue to be felt by our students, families, and staff for years to come. We are deeply grateful for the Classic Club program and for the partnership with the Boys and Girls Club that made his work possible. And then I also wanted to point out the Bruce Drysdale quote from April Semi. His consistent presence and genuine care make a noticeable difference in our school's culture. We are truly blessed by the Classic Club program and Brian's dedication to supporting our students' academic and emotional growth. So I just wanted to point those two out because I feel like it really showcases how vital they are in the school and how much they're impacting the school's culture in a positive way. All right, looking ahead, so this is what our goals are for the Classic Club program as we move forward with this. As Ms. Marlowe mentioned, it is a new program, and so we do have like a lot of room to grow. When we spoke to the principals, I think it was back in April or March, we asked if there was whoever was interested in the program, if they would reach out to us, and all of the elementary schools that we serve requested to have a Classic Club employee. So we're only in a few schools, but our hope is to eventually grow. We are also partnering with the Pathways Mentoring Program, which is with the Education Foundation in creating mentors for all of the middle schoolers and high schoolers at Flat Rock and East. So we're hoping to help provide an extra person for them using the Classic Club format. And then we are hoping to assist any school that would like our presence. If like high school, middle school, everybody, we would like to help. And then finally, for the Boys and Girls Club, we would just like to be a meaningful part of creating solutions for Henderson County Public Schools. So aside from Classic Club, even like what we did at Atkinson, we would just like to be thought of to do anything that we can to support the kids because we share these same exact kids. So we want to make sure that we're there and we're helping you guys as much as we can. So do you guys have any questions for us?
How many Henderson County Public School students do you guys serve, both during the school year and during the summer?
During the school year, we're sitting around 300 to 370 per day. During the summer, we hit an average about 400 to about 530 at the max. So we serve a wide range of students. And I think that's what makes this program so beneficial is that having been a kid of the Henderson County Public Schools and of the Boys and Girls Club, having this partnership of serving the kids that need us most has just been wonderful. So thank you guys also for this opportunity.
How do you get your kids to the Boys and Girls Club?
So we have a fleet of 3 buses and 10 vans. And so we transport from Etowah, Atkinson, Upward, Dana, Apple Valley, North Edneyville, Sugarloaf, Immaculata, Heritage Hall, Mountain Community School, and I'm missing one or two.
And then Clear Creek buses their students over, Bruce Drysdale buses their students over, Hendersonville
And
Elementary.
Sugarloaf also sends a
Yeah.
bus as well.
The goal is to eventually be able to pick everybody up, but we only have so many buses and vans.
And how much do you charge the parents for this?
It's completely free of cost.
$0.
Yep. That's the beauty in it. And we,
Yeah.
for full days, we do breakfast, lunch, snack. On regular days after school, we provide snack, dinner on Fridays, and again, the wide range of programs.
How many students do you have, sorry, at the new high school? Is it high school and middle school or just high school facility?
Oh, yes, the Tom Center, the Tom facility on Main Street. We would typically have somewhere between 80 to 100. We're mainly using it for the summer as that's our biggest demand. So we'll be using that space again this summer, but yeah, it's usually about 80 to 100 to alleviate the pressure in our main building.
Nice. And were you able to pick up younger students during the summer at the main building because of that?
Yes, so we opened it up to kindergarten, which is something we haven't done before. We did take in a few 5-year-olds as well. So we've now created an entire just kindergarten class, and we're looking to expand that as well.
Nice.
What are your hours during the school year?
During the school year, we're open from 3 to 7. We used to only be open from 3 to 6, so a lot of parents still believe that. But we did extend those hours, and during full days, like during flex break, we're open from 9 to 7. And then in the summertime, we'll be open from 7:30 to 5:30.
Could you touch just a little bit on the partnership with Henderson County Education Foundation with the Pathfinders?
Yeah, so this is just a conversation that we've just started, and we're trying to find the perfect fit to be a part of that. So we've been in contact with Maggie and Maggie and who's leading it? I forgot her name.
Peggy.
Peggy. Sorry. Yes, Peggy.
Peggy
and
Marshall.
So, yeah, Peggy Marshall. And so we've been in contact with them and just trying to get somebody so it would look really similar to Class to Club. And we haven't figured out exactly how it would work because there are 2 weeks where they're in the school all day, and that would kind of mess up that 40-hour work week. So we're still trying to figure that out. But then after, it would be when they're working at the club, they would be working solely with our lower campus, which is our middle schoolers through high schoolers, working with like tutoring and intervention for academics with them. So we've really just started the interviewing process, and then as we've started that, we're starting to talk about like what it'll look like. But they would be helping at Flat Rock and East, and then eventually, hopefully, taking that over so that Peggy can move on to another school.
Well, I certainly want to thank you, not only for this new program, but for the support and collaboration you provided us last year during Helene and opened your doors to our schools. And we are so blessed to have such a wonderful partnership with you. And it's a true collaboration. I love the way you say you want to talk to the principals and you want to hear their needs and try to pair their needs to what you can provide the students. And I just really appreciate that. It truly takes a village, and thank you for being part of that.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody else have a comment?
No, just as a parent of an Atkinson student, that was a big deal. Thank you.
I just want to echo the thank you so much for all that you do, not only in our schools, but just, even on your own with all of our students. It's such an incredible impact. So we really appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking with us
thank you,
today.
guys.
Thank you for having us.
All right. And next, we have something a little new on our agenda. Dr. Marlowe, you want to talk about our school features?
I do. We did this a couple months ago. Our plan is to have an opportunity for every one of our schools to be in front of you and just talk about something awesome that they do that is either unique to them or that they just do super well. And so tonight, the three that we have just happen to be all elementaries. Two of them actually happen to be schools that you just heard about in the Class to Club. But our theme tonight would kind of be around community partnership. So actually, Amy Cleveland from Dana is going to elaborate on what that Class to Club looks like in her building on the school side. And then right after that will be Drew Van Cannon and Kat Capps from Eddyville talking about their community farmers market. And then Dr. Childers and Debbie Freeman from Etowah will talk about the fire prevention program that they do there. So I'm going to hand it off to Ms. Cleveland.
Thank you. You know, you talk about how blessed we are in Henderson County Schools to have this partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. And I'm telling you right now, Dana Elementary is so blessed by the partnership that we get to have with that club. And as they were talking about back in April or May of last year, Mr. Parent came and talked about the Boys and Girls Club and the partnerships that they want to have with the schools, and they talked about Class to Club. And before he was done, I was on my computer saying, I want this at Dana. And Mrs. Riley and Mr. Vega made it happen. They immediately contacted me and said, what is it that you're looking for? Let's sit down and talk about this. And when I tell them that I appreciate that they found this perfect person for our school, they had said they knew that Mr. Manny was going to be the right person for the job. So I did write something up. Mrs. Riley had asked if I would do a quote for them, and it ended up being a whole page. And she took a little snippet of it and put it up there, but I'm going to read through it because I have a lot of great things to say about Mr. Manny. Class to Club has made a tremendous impact on the students and staff at Dana Elementary. Through this program, one of our very own former Wildcats, Mr. Manny Davila, made a heartfelt commitment to serve his community and give back to the school that helped shape him. Each day, Mr. Davila returns to Dana Elementary to work with individual students and small groups, providing both academic support and encouragement. He is a kind and patient presence on our campus, known for his gentle spirit and genuine care for every child that he serves. Mr. Davila is bilingual, and this has played a key role in connecting with our Spanish-speaking students and their families. With nearly 1/3 of our student population coming from homes where English is not the primary language, his ability to communicate and build trust has strengthened relationships and fostered a deeper sense of belonging across our school community. Mr. Davila's dedication and compassion embody what it means to give back, and his impact will continue to be felt by our students, families, and staff for years to come. We are deeply grateful for the Class to Club program and for the partnership with the Boys and Girls Club that made his work possible. It is our hope that the smiles, hugs, positive attitudes, and achievements of our students serve as a reflection of our appreciation for Mr. Davila and all who have contributed to this meaningful gift. It has made a huge impact in our school community, and I told them that they can never take him from us. He is a Wildcat, and he wears that purple proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Drew Van Cannon from Eddyville. This is Kat Capps. I would miss an opportunity to thank the Boys and Girls Club for what they do at our school. I know that's not what we're talking about, but they are a phenomenal partner for us. We've had the privilege of working with them for a couple of years. And Miss Abby is absolutely wonderful. We had Araceli before. She's great too. So we couldn't be happier with that partnership. But I'm here to talk about our community farmers market. Ms. Capps here is our STEM teacher, and she does an absolutely phenomenal job helping support the science and math that we do within our building, and does a lot of it through an agricultural focus because we are the agricultural corridor of Henderson County. So she came to me a couple of years ago with an idea that I thought was absolutely amazing, and she has turned it into something more amazing than I thought it would be. And so I twisted her arm to get her to come up here and brag on herself a little bit, because she is the person that puts all of this into place and makes this event truly a great one for our community and for our kids. So, Ms. Kat?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be here today. Living in an agricultural community where the children are 1 to 2 generations removed from the farm and agricultural livelihood, I find it extremely important not only to teach them, but to show them, then connect them to the people that are doing the jobs and careers that we discuss. So the big why is so that they can see themselves in the people that are coming and showing their jobs. It started with, like he said, just an idea, and it has grown every year. This is the 3rd year that we have done it. It started with, in 23, with 16 people that said that they would show up. And then this year, we had over 20 vendors, farmers, and then community people, including the North FFA, North HOSA, the leadership teams from Edneyville and Apple Valley, and all types of farms throughout our community. And I think it is, and also we have turned it into a Title I event where the families also go into the school and do something with the students. And I think it's really amazing to allow these kids to see the people behind the jobs that they potentially and their families are doing. So they take a lot of pride in themselves and the farm that they come from. And the bottom picture, that is one of our school families, and they bring their apples and their cider to the farmer's market. And then one of the young entrepreneurs from our school is part of selling their goods to the children that they go to school with. And then they look at them like, wow, you're doing that? I can do that too. So I think that's really just my big reason, is so that they can see themselves in the people that are surrounding them. So thank you again.
And Ms. Capps does a really good job of bringing vendors in, so we give them a market to sell, but also having free events for our families to come. So you don't have to buy anything to enjoy the event. There are free opportunities for kids to participate without having to spend any money. So
Absolutely.
thank you, guys.
Great job.
Thank you.
And lastly, Etowah Elementary, Dr. Childress.
Good afternoon. Etowah Elementary School is very proud to partner with Etowah Horseshoe Fire Department to support student safety, learning, and community engagement. Through this collaboration, firefighters provide safety education programs, they participate in school events, and they build positive relationships with students and staff. This partnership strengthens our shared commitment to protecting and serving the Etowah community while helping our All-Stars learn the importance of responsibility, preparedness, and civic service. I want to thank and recognize Miss Debbie Freeman. She's one of our long-standing and invaluable instructional assistants who coordinates our fire prevention multi-day program each year. Her leadership and dedication ensures that our students receive engaging, high-quality safety education that truly makes a difference. She has brought, there's firefighters rappelling from the building. We've done multi-agency response to school. We've had Mama Land on campus as an interagency demonstration. And you want to tell them about this year?
Sure. My connection with the Etowah Horseshoe Fire Department is my husband. He has been a volunteer in that fire department for 46 years. And of course, with him being a volunteer, then, you know, of course, I'm right there beside him. And, you know,
She gets it
it's, yeah. Wife, family, you know. our program, we have, several faculty that go and serve other schools. They said there is nothing like the Etowah Fire Department Fire Prevention Program, and they just rave on it. It starts in the summer. My husband contacts Dr. Childers. As I said, he's a volunteer. He's now the president. They talked him into being the president of the fire department. He is still a volunteer. He does have a paying job. And Etowah is a combination department. That means that they do have paid firemen, and then they still have their volunteers. Okay, so my husband contacts Dr. Childers in the summer, say, okay, and it's a Wednesday through Friday event. It's not just a one and done thing. To work on around other schedules, check-ins and everything. So starting with Wednesday through Friday morning, classes sign up for a particular time, classroom time. And then they go down to the gym and they see and they are told about all the equipment and everything that the firemen do. And then they reiterate, how the safety of wearing helmets in everything they do. And they even have a firefighter dress up in their complete turnout gear. So, they sound like Darth Vader. And, so if there was ever an event at their home, they would not run and hide. They would know, oh, they are here to help us. And even water rescue, they show them if you're, in the water, this is what you need to do. And they do a throw bag. And each child gets a packet with the basic, fire information. And they tell them, don't just go home and share this with your family. If you go to aunts and uncles and grandparents' home, you need to share this with them also. And if you live in a 2-story house, this is what you need, the escape ladder. All that, they talk about them. And then they'll go outside and see all the apparatus that the fire department has and the different tools that they use and why. And then on Friday afternoon, as you see up here, there's a school-wide event. And Dr. Childers told you a little bit about what my husband's capable of doing. He can, make a turnip grow in the wintertime. But we've landed Mama. But this year, the picture to the left, that was a gentleman that they brought the ladder truck in with 75 foot, and they swung him over, and he rappelled off of the top of the ladder. And then the bottom right there, they took an old car, and they took the top off to show if you were ever in a car accident and you were trapped, this is what's going to happen. This is what you see. This is what you hear. And of course, the excitement, the kids, and not only the children, but the teachers, because they are able, they do have in their budget money for the fire prevention program. But there's also, that's a line item, and then there's also donations that they get from area businesses, baskets for the teachers. So my husband and I, we go out, we buy 3 bicycles, K1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. I cut all the names apart for each of those sections, and a child's name is pulled out of there. They also get a helmet with that. But the most exciting part for the teachers and even the children, there are those baskets. I cut apart each person's name who has any affiliation with Etowah at all, and we draw out names for those baskets. So the kids get excited over that too. So you can see that upper picture, how excited they get over everything. So,
all right. And it's awesome to to hear so many students who, during this program, will say, I want to be a firefighter when I grow up, or I want to do this. And so they're making those lifelong connections that are just awesome. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
And that has happened before. Yes. Former students have become firefighters.
And many of the junior firefighters will come
Yes.
back too, and they'll say it started here with this program where they
Right.
were introduced. So it's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're down to our board member observation times. Any board member observations?
So I just wanted to say, everything we've seen today is all about community partnerships. And Henderson County Public Schools doesn't function just off of us, just off our teachers, off of our principals. It takes an entire community to love these kids, to nurture these kids. And they need every bit of it. From farmers to firefighters to people who will come in after school. I mean, parents don't just work 9 to 5. Some of these parents are, I'm sure, still struggling to get off at 7 to pick their kids up from the Boys and Girls Club. So having all these programs is so vital. And another one that personally I want to say thank you to is our faith community. They step in week after week, our churches all across Henderson County, and provide meals for these kids after school to take home. And the universal language of any denomination in Henderson County is serving others. And these kids are at the heart of it. So I just want to say thank you to all of our churches across Henderson County who pack meals on the weekends to send home, provide stuff for Christmas for our students, provide support when disasters happen. So I just want to say thank you to all of our community partnerships that we have through Henderson County, because it takes more than just a board and administration and teachers and principals, and it takes an entire community for these kids. So thank you.
Well, I agree, and I got to visit Dana Elementary, and Miss Cleveland and I go kind of like back just a little bit, I know. She was at Fletcher Elementary with my grandchildren, and I was just kind of heartbroken when she left, but let me tell you, she's exactly where she needs to be. So at the tour this past week, there was a young boy. I completely was just taken in by the science lab they were rubbing a balloon. You know, they were testing the negative and positive ions of basically static electricity, but anyways, awesome. So I see her kneel down in front of a child, and I hope this is okay for me to share. He was upset because it didn't work the way he expected it to work out. Well, the minute she knelt down and began speaking with that child, he immediately became calm. And it was, when I tell you it was really pure gold to watch, it really was. To watch her interact with that young man, he was instantly calm. He was not upset with himself, and class went on. And just all through the halls, you can see the progress with this school. Every hall tells its own story. Every classroom tells its story. I'm excited about the Club to Club with the Boys and Girls Club. I'm also excited and really looking forward to the SOAR, if I can talk about that just a little bit, about more mentorships. We certainly do need mentorships, and one of my goals, if I could say that, and I've kind of like really been pushing that, is to get more community oriented people, get parents involved, let the parents know what's going on. We don't need to be disconnected, we need to be connected. And I'm so thankful for the Title I program that you're being able to use over at Edneyville. I think that's amazing how you're pulling it all together. And it is a beautiful partnership that we have with our community and our kids. So thank you all for what you do. Thank you just for being there and going above and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So I was really blessed on Friday. I got to travel to every one of our high schools. My Flower Farm is a sponsor of the senior T-shirts. So I got to watch them get their shirts because they were part of the kindergarten classes that didn't get an original T-shirt. And the kindergarten kids from different schools like Dana, Sugarloaf, Etowah, I'm drawing a blank on, Bruce Drysdale was there. It was so wonderful to watch these kindergarten kids come in and give these seniors their T-shirts and to watch these 17, 18-year-old kids talking with these 5 and 6-year-olds and them looking up at them and connecting that I'm going to be this big when I am a senior in high school. It was the best day. Like, it took all day, but it was the best day just being a part of that and seeing that. So I know, like, the board members, normally they'll get notice on the kindergarten T-shirts, and are we doing it again next year, or do all of them have? We got one more, so you guys I'll have to remind you next year to sign up for it, so that you can go and stop in at least one school and see it. It was just full circle sweet.
Awesome. Anyone else?
I'd like to highlight, you've heard me talk about the sports. I think it's just such a huge thing because when kids have buy-in to the schools, just, grades, everything excels. And we have a lot of our teams, actually is 16 total, that have made it to state playoffs in some form or fashion. So I want you all to know that because I think that's important. So East Henderson High School, the men's soccer team made it to the first round. And then we had a single female runner for cross country that went to the state. For Hendersonville High School, football is in the second round this week. Soccer is in the third round tonight, I think, is what I heard for the Bearcats there. Cross-country girls also made it to the state. Volleyball went to the first round, and the women's tennis team was actually the regional runners-up, which is pretty awesome. North Henderson High School, the football team went to the first round. Men's soccer went to the first round, as well as women's tennis, which is amazing. West Henderson High School football, they're in the second round this Friday. So make sure this Friday you've got Hendersonville. You've got to travel, I think, for both teams. So travel, but go support our guys. Soccer made it to the first round. For cross country, we actually had a female that got second place overall for the state, which is pretty cool. And our team for the females actually came in, they were runners up, which is amazing. And men's cross country came in 10th. Volleyball made it to the third round, and women's tennis, I believe, made it to round 4. So for our sports teams, congratulations. Those are coaches who go above and beyond. And I would be amiss if I didn't say, hey, the band director, our band guys, our cheerleaders, they're all part of this as well. So they all get credit. So kudos to each of them.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you not only to all of our employees that are veterans, but to every veteran. It always just is really important to me to acknowledge that. I went to a wonderful veterans little event at one of my schools, and it was just incredible. And so I really want to say thank you to all of our schools that participate in doing some sort of acknowledgement for Veterans Day. And if we have any that don't, I really encourage you to start. It doesn't have to be a huge thing, just something, because I think it's really incredible for our kids to see. A lot of them have family members and people that they know. So I just wanted to say a heartfelt thank you for myself.
And if I may, I did not mean to leave out Etowah because I was noticing on the slide, there's a young man there that I recognize. I recognize his face, and so he is a huge mentor and a great asset to not only Mills River Fire Station, but also to the community and to the young students. So thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Evis, may I add athletic trainers, or I'm going to be in a lot of trouble at my house.
Yes, you may. When you start naming names, it's hard.
I'm not going to
get
name
them all.
names, but I'm going to get in trouble if I don't.
And let me slide North Henderson Volleyball in there for you too, so we don't get in trouble for that one.
North Henderson Volleyball as well. Did a great job, yes.
All right. Okay, now we are ready for our public comments. We have several public comments. I think there are 9 in all. I will take them in the order in which they were received. I will ask that everyone please adhere to the 3-minute limit, just for the sake of time. And if you don't go 3 minutes, that's okay. But I'm going to ask you I'm going to ask you, call up one and then have the next person come down as well. So our first speaker tonight is Paul Weisselbaum, and after him, Joyce Marstella. So if you all will come on down and be ready to go.
Good evening. Through Commissioner Bill Lapsley's very public comments in the last week, we've seen how dismayed the county commissioners are about the Henderson County Legislative Delegation's actions to apparently secretly switch the Clear Creek sewer system replacement appropriation to what's also needed at Etowah for a sewer system replacement. The Clear Creek, that is to say Edneyville, project was apparently shovel-ready, while the Etowah project reportedly cannot meet the built-in deadlines to actually plan and implement its project and preserve the monies. In this interestingly designed catch-22, the state of North Carolina maybe is going to spend no money to resolve several pressing public interests in our sewer systems. The school board, get to the point, has a vital interest in this controversy. Per last week's Hendersonville Lightning, the Clear Creek project would, quote, serve Edneyville Elementary School, which is on a failing septic system, unquote. Given that that funding appears to have disappeared now, the county commissioners are trying to decide what parts of the project to retain and how to find the monies to accomplish them. At the extreme, Edneyville Elementary School is at risk of an eventual shutdown unless the county commissioners give replacing its septic system a high priority for funding alternatives. In order to act in the interests of our public school system, it is therefore imperative that the board address these issues as soon as possible in whatever fashion it publicly chooses. As public school strong members, we have consistently advocated that it would serve everyone's interests for Representative Balcom and Senator Moffitt to sit down publicly with the school board to ask and to answer questions related to our public schools. From our perspective, Henderson County's legislative delegation have taken a bunch of actions that are prejudicial to public education, but let us now at least directly focus on the very concrete matters of the Clear Creek sewer system, Edneyville Elementary School, and the proper role of government to solve or help the community solve problems. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see each and every one of you. I look forward to this time because I get to just speak to you. I never know what's coming out my mouth, so I listen to what I say because it's important to get a thread going here, and I hope I do an accurate, somewhat accurate job. I know, you know. But anyway, I am so thrilled about the word God gave me this today. The word is truth. And I said, well, that's pretty broad, Lord. What do you mean truth? And then I realized that we, as a school, board members, I don't mean me as a part of you, but you know what I mean. You as school board members have an opportunity and a secret, sacred trust to keep our doors open and yet be able to keep it where it should be so we don't get a lot of filtering in. Everyone in here, every one of us want the same thing. We want our children to be the best that they can possibly be. And how do we do that? Well, you heard about it. It's like a river flowing through here when you all get up and say what you've done. And you've done marvelous things, the head down. And I thank you for that. But we must keep a trust and a watch of exactly what it is that we are letting in. And there's certain truths that, to me, cannot be wavering. And I'll take a simple one. There are many, but I'll take a simple one. In the beginning, the Lord made male and female. And he didn't make male and question mark. And I know Father is very important to him that the truth be spoken to our children. That, yes, there are children who have problems and could be counseled, but I don't want boys to be in girls' sports. I don't want boys to be in girls' restrooms. And it's not good for our community, for our schools, anything that is taking something that is so natural and so ordinary and making it weird. So I thank you. I praise you for doing your job, and that's why we are able to hear about these advantages and these great things. Thank you so much. God bless you, and keep you until we meet again. Forward.
Mr. Cannon, and next up, Judy Bonner.
I am a retired pastor. I've devoted more than 40 years of my life to proclaiming that Jesus Christ is Lord and to exploring how Christians are called to live. I speak today on behalf of 23 clergy living in Henderson County. We strongly believe that an individual's faith ought to influence their political convictions. We also strongly believe that the government should not seek to shape anyone's political convictions or religious convictions. We appreciate that many board members have a deep faith commitment, but we believe that some comments by board members at the October meeting were inappropriate while acting in their official role in an official meeting. These remarks suggest that one religious point of view is favored by the school board, a particular version of faith not shared by all Christians, much less by people with other religious commitments or with none. In October 1801, the Danbury, Connecticut Baptist Association wrote a letter to the President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. The Baptist stated, "Our sentiments are uniformly on the side of religious liberty, that religion is at all times and places a matter between God and individuals, that the legitimate power of government extends no further than what is in the public interest." Jefferson replied that he agreed with the Baptist and stated that religious liberty protects rights of conscience. We also agree. Our sentiments are also uniformly on the side of religious liberty. When a government established to serve all citizens begins to promote one version of religion, it's gone too far. We oppose the government advocating for one religious point of view or another. It inevitably corrupts the faith it seeks to promote, and it stigmatizes people who do not share that faith. Remember what Jesus taught. Whatever you wish that people would do to you, do so to them. We support you publicly affirming your religious convictions, but when you act in an official capacity as a member of the board, it's inappropriate
Thank you,
to
Mr.
promote one particular faith. Thank you.
Judy Bonner, and then next, Carol Cannon.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking today as a concerned community member and an advocate for inclusive constitutional public education. I want to address a concern: the promotion of one religion over others in our public schools, and more specifically, the religious messaging expressed by board members during official school board meetings. When elected officials use their public platform to advance personal religious beliefs, it blurs the line between personal faith and public duty. These meetings are not church services. They are civic forums meant to represent all constituents regardless of faith. When board members invoke religious doctrine or frame policy decisions through a singular religious lens, it sends a troubling message that some students and families are more welcome, more valued, or more moral than others. This is not just ethically problematic, it is legally risky. The Establishment Clause of the First Amendment prohibits government entities, including public school boards, from endorsing or promoting religion. Courts have repeatedly ruled that religious favoritism in public education violates constitutional protections. When school members speak as representatives of a public institution, their words carry institutional weight. Religious messaging in that context can be exclusionary, divisive, and unconstitutional. Our schools serve students of every faith and no faith. They deserve an environment where they can learn without fear of religious bias or pressure. That includes knowing that the adults in charge are committed to neutrality, fairness, and respect for all beliefs. I urge this board to reaffirm its commitment to religious neutrality, not just in policy, but in practice and public discourse. Let's ensure our schools remain places of learning, not platforms for religious endorsement. Thank you.
Thank you. Carol Cannon, and next, Mr. Joe Elliott.
Last Friday morning, my husband and I went hiking. It was a beautiful mountain day. I mean, it's why we moved to Western North Carolina, isn't it? And on the way up, we focused on making it up to the top of the mountain. And it was just a gorgeous view looking out over the valleys. And on the way down, we simply took our time and caught glimpses of the light shimmering in the leaves. And one particular spot took our breath away. We stopped at a trail and basked in the glory of all the colors we could see. The leaves that were light green and dusty brown and bright orange and red and yellow. The pine trees with the dark green needles. The sky that was bright Carolina blue, even if you're not a North Carolina fan. And clouds that were fluffy white. And as we stood there gazing at the sight, I started singing one of our children's favorite songs. Ed Kilburn, I don't know how many of you know Ed Kilburn, but he sang it at a Christian concert that they heard at Lake Junaluska here in Western North Carolina. And our children played that song over and over and over and over. So it was easily on my heart and mind 20 years later. But the song is about a child exuberantly coloring on his very first day of school. His teacher said, "What are you doing?" Because he wasn't exactly coloring the way that she wanted him to. And this is what he said. "There are so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flowers, and I see every one." And I thought of our grandson as I saw the beautiful colors and as I sang the song. And Paul started school this fall. And my hope for him, for his classmates, and for all the children here in Henderson County is that they will find delight in all the colors of the world around them. And my prayer is that they will celebrate all the wonderful differences of the leaves and the flowers, of the birds and the animals. and I dream that they will treasure all the colors and all the variety of their classmates, the people in the schools. And I fervently pray that each child will feel precious and valued by their families, by their teachers and classmates, knowing that each is uniquely and wonderfully made.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Elliott, and next up is Clint Holt.
Good afternoon. I think the point has been made about religion in this environment, so I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to address something else that was said just a few minutes ago, and that has to do with transgender students participating in the other gender's sport. And I'm going to quote facts. Charlie Baker, who was the former two-term governor of the state of Massachusetts, Republican governor, is now the president of the NCAA, National Collegiate Athletic Association. Last year, he was questioned in Congress before a Senate committee about how many athletes are under his guidance. He said about 150,000. And then he was asked, how many of them are transgender athletes? His answer was less than 10. So we make hysterical claims about something that is not really a problem. And I just want to make sure that people understand when you make these assumptions, you have to be responsible for those assumptions. And that's my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Holt. And next up is Sheila Clendenning.
Good afternoon. As noted earlier, there are some concerns regarding board members' observations. Now, it's my understanding that this is a practice that was initiated by a previous board but has been carried forward to this one. While the intent behind this practice, I'm sure, was admirable, there seems to be little guidance regarding the purpose of the observations, and unlike public comments, there is little instruction regarding time limits or acceptable topics. As was the case today, one might expect that board members would limit their observations to activities relevant to school operations and use their comments to celebrate school successes. One might expect that members would report on such things as their accomplishments since the last board meeting, schools visited, programs observed, teacher awards presented, student recognition events. One might expect that members would report on community engagements, where they advocated for the funding needed to satisfy the board's duty to provide every student with the opportunity to receive a sound basic education. These are the kinds of things one might expect from board members who are focused on the health and the future of Henderson County Public Schools. On the other hand, there are things one might not expect to be part of board members' observations. One might not expect board members to use this time to promote a personal business, sing the woes of their favorite NFL team, or promote a political candidate. One might not expect board members to make comments that could be construed as being non-compliant with the Code of Ethics, which instructs that each member of the board refrain from using their position on the board for personal or partisan gain. One might not expect board members to use their time to read lengthy articles that are of personal interest, but not specific to school operations. However, wherever there is sufficient ambiguity, even the best intended practices will sometimes be used for other purposes. Madam Chairperson, I encourage you to consider drafting some guidance documenting the purpose of the board member observations. You might direct that the comments be specific to school matters or establish time limits in order to maintain the discipline and the pace necessary for an efficient meeting. And you might remind all of us that board meetings are conducted for the purpose of carrying on the official business of the school system. Thank you.
Sheila Clendenning, and next up is Sheriff Silvius.
Good afternoon. As we celebrate our veterans tomorrow and every day of the year, I think we need to be reminded that America is not a Christian nation, in large part due to the sacrifices by veterans for the past 300 years. In our America, we are free to choose. We can choose atheism, Buddhism, Christianity, Druidism, Hinduism, Islamism, or we can even be a Zen practitioner. The ABCs of our list of religions worldwide is long and it is complex. In our public schools, this freedom to choose must never be forgotten. It must be acknowledged and it must be honored. Our nation's founders did not envision, nor did they attempt to create a theocracy. Rather, they envisioned a democratic constitutional republic with representatives working to create a more perfect union for all. Elected officials at all levels are expected to represent the entirety of their constituency. Not until the beginning of the Civil War did the phrase "In God We Trust" appear on U.S. coins, and not until 1957 on our paper currency. "Under God" was added to our 1892 Pledge of Allegiance in 1954. Can any one religion claim exclusive access to God? To me, God expressed by many names or by no name at all is much too big to be the private property of anyone or any group. Henderson County Public Schools Policy Number 3515 reads in part, "The board will neither advance nor inhibit any religion or religious belief, viewpoint, expression, or practice." I applaud this policy, and I trust that each board member in the future will consider very carefully the diversity of our counties, not only our pupils, but our entire population, as you comply in good faith with the intent of that policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff Silvius.
Good afternoon. I want to readdress something that I have been talking about for a year now, which is the book policy that we have here. And someone said that I had an opinion that many may not agree with. So in order to figure out whether or not people have the same opinion as me about the books that I think that is inappropriate for our school system, I thought I'd read an excerpt that is in one of the books of many that are in our school system. I'm embarrassed to read this. I do not want to do this, but I feel like I have to because there's no movement happening. He managed to twist free the buttons of his trousers, and then he guided Amy's fingers to the shaft of him. A noise like a hiss escaped from Emery as he used his hand to wrap Amy's fingers around his yard. It was hot, it was hard, with a dew-wet drip at its tip. Emery moved Amy's hands with his grip up and down, slowly at first and then faster, until with a grunt and a groan and a spasm so tight that the knuckles of Amy's fingers cracked, a jet of warmth spilled out of him and trickled down Amy's hands.
Silvius, we get the idea. Please
Thank
move
you.
on.
I appreciate you letting me read that. and it is disgusting. I do think faith does take place in our society, and it judges our character. I think that faith should be practiced, and I appreciate those that are representing the Christians that are in our society, that are in Henderson County. And I believe they have the freedom to not have their kids exposed to such material. There are many, and I'm going to share some excerpts with you. And in saying that, there's books that are good, such as Created Equal by Ben Carson, that were not allowed to come in to our public libraries. Climate Change, The Politically Incorrect Guide to, which science has proven to be true, that we need to have a different opinion besides the one that's being taught in the schools. Make Your Bed by Admiral William McRaven, which is a bestseller that helps with character building in children. The Adversity of Diversity by Carol Swain. It's self-explanatory. She's an amazing woman. And Thomas Sowell, Social Justice Fallacies. Children should have a right to be able to have differences of opinion. I agree. Thank you.
Board members, you have the consent agenda before you. I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a second? All those in favor, aye. Opposed likewise. Consent agenda is passed. And now we're on to our old business. We have some information about our low-performing schools and requirements that have to be taken to move forward with our low-performing schools. Mr. Garrett?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is our third in a three-part series. So you heard the business that we handled in September and October. October handled the leadership positions at these schools. What we have to do now is do the requirements to turn into the state and submit those. You had presented to you last meeting, and they have been up for review on our website, the improvement plans for our low-performing schools. We have received 0 comments on those. So just real quickly, this is the general statute of the requirements. If your school is identified as low-performing, the following actions shall take place. So we have done the first action here. We come in, I shall submit to you the plan for improving those schools, including how we will work to support that. And these are links to those plans. You have had those plans as part of the entire school improvement plan piece that you will be approving or hearing from Dr. Marlowe in just a moment. And again, that is a link to the form for the community input. Having heard no community input, we move along. The parent notification has gone out. I received my first letter ever as a superintendent based on the parent notification. And to kind of paraphrase, they said it didn't matter. They were not worried about one test score or one measurement of that school. Their experience was all about how great that school had been for their students and their families. So it was exciting to get that letter. So those notifications have gone out. So step 3, within 30 days, the board shall vote to approve, modify, or reject the plans. Before the local board votes, it shall make the plan available to the public, which we have done over the last 30-day period. So final approval will be requested at the November board meeting. Well, guess what month it is? It's November. So we would request your approval so that we may submit that plan by the deadline, which is in a couple of weeks. And I'll entertain any questions that you have.
Do we need to approve these separately from the other plans?
You just need to approve, this is our plan for improvement for the schools designated as low performing. And then the school improvement plans will be individual.
Any questions? Okay.
So then the administration would ask for approval, ma'am.
Approval for this plan for working with our low-performing schools. Do I have a motion?
Where is the motion on here?
I do not see it.
I move that the Henderson County Board of Public Education approve the low-performing schools requirement.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion carries. We have approved the plan for supporting our low-performing schools.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda, Dr. Marlowe is going to talk about approval of our school improvement plans. And this would be for all schools.
Yes, so you had those 5 previously, and then we've provided you with the others. If you chose to access them through the folders with the PDFs in them, or if you decided to brave NC Star, you had the ability to do either. Just a reminder that these are live plans. They don't just stop with the PDF that you had. That was basically a moment in time. Some of them have had school improvement team meetings since then. They've gone ahead and marked off action goals or added new ones. It is a continual school improvement plan, which we like a whole lot better than the one that used to sit on the shelf. So these are for all of our schools. Those for the schools designated as low performing will also be part of this approval process. There are a couple of days left in that 30-day window for feedback from the community, so we'll continue to leave that open, and then when that's done, we'll close that survey form out. And then those schools will also be able, they have to submit, click a submit button, and that goes to the state for those schools. So having had some time to review these plans, we are asking that you approve the school improvement plans that will guide our schools' work for the 25-26 school year.
So you said you didn't get any comment from the community?
We submitted a form, it's the form that's on the website, and not only on our district website, but also on the individual school's website that had, and it's only for those that are low performing. That's part of that legislation. So, no.
But the public also can gain access to all of those school improvement plans and has the
Yes.
ability to attend those meetings if they wish, but we've not had any feedback.
Well, I think that parent said it pretty nicely. We're not looking at we're not wanting to measure our schools based on a set of test scores on one day. And that's what our accountability measures do. And it's just been my experience that parents want to know their children are safe and cared for, and that we do attend to the academics, of course, but that's not the only dimension of a child that we're interested in growing and improving. Me just ask a couple questions. Dr. Marlowe, what support is given to the schools as they are improving, as they are making these school improvement changes? Do you support them? Your team support them? Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yes, so every school has basically a central office liaison that attends the school improvement team meetings with them. They're there to answer questions. Should certain things come up, they can take notes. They can reach out to whoever is the appropriate person for whatever the question is. But my entire team supports them. In fact, we have a principals meeting on Wednesday. We reiterate that and talk to them about what specific goals they have that they might be working on, and then what support is needed. We also are providing feedback on a pretty regular basis for instructional rounds. So schools that are designated low performing status or are designated as having not met growth this year, we're going out basically monthly. We'll be out there about 7 times in their buildings to do instructional rounds this year. And then if they were a TSI where they're looking at specific subgroups, we go out there quarterly for them. But we provide feedback not only to the administrators during those rounds, but also to the teachers. So that way, if they have questions, they know exactly who to contact. Part of that goal is so that we are more approachable, even at the classroom level, so that if they have questions that they want to know how to improve something, they want to look at a professional development, that they want something to address specific needs in their class, they know who to contact.
Board members, any questions?
And all of that they're updating all this through Indy Star, right? And that's going really well.
Yes, yes. It's a little cumbersome, especially if you're new to it, but once they kind of figure out how to navigate the pages, it's a whole lot better than it was when you were trying to find whatever notebook you left notes on last time. And it's live, so you can check things off, which is really beneficial. And as you mentioned, they have more pieces of data that they gain throughout the school year. So if they want to add or modify action steps, they can do that in this. It doesn't feel quite so inflexible as it has in the past.
So do you give feedback on the school improvement plans? Because I felt like in reading through them, some of them are vastly different, not specific. Some of them go into great detail of how they're going to achieve certain things.
Part of that depends on how their school improvement teams work. But we give, so the folks that go to the meetings also give coaching comments to them every month. Those will actually begin now that the plans will be approved, hopefully. But we also, during those beginning months of school, and sometimes most of these schools start work on this over the summer, and so we are giving them guidance about some things that need to be in there to make sure certain things are addressed, but also it needs to be about their school. So sometimes the level of specificity looks different, and that usually has to do with the way their school improvement plan works. But we follow up on all of that and continue to ask questions.
Okay.
And I noticed sometimes they would have comments about this item is not being addressed this year. I mean, that's just so different for me to see that you're keeping in there, but even though you're not addressing it. So it's been a little different for me to get used to. But I guess the bottom line is we approve these as they stand today, but knowing that they can change tomorrow, correct?
That is correct, sorry.
More specific, the better.
Yes.
That's what we like.
Being able to see the dates of their goal dates and their, they accomplished this, that was nice to be able to see when they've actually done these things and when their goal is to either do them or make sure they set it by.
And sometimes, also to address the question about how some of them are different, it depends on what kind of training their team has had. If they're really comfortable with it, they get used to archiving some things, moving some things around. If you're a newer team, a lot of times you'll leave those out there right there in front of you so you can kind of see them, and then they get more comfortable with it as it goes along.
Anything else? I'll take a motion, please.
I move that the Henderson County Board of Public Education approve the 2025-26 school improvement plans as presented.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion carries. Thank you, and thank your team for the hard work, and all of our principals and staff for putting time into this.
It's worth it. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have our temporary construction easement. Mr. Taylor?
Good evening, board members. This evening, first item I have for you is this temporary construction easement that Enbridge Gas is requesting. They're requesting approval for this temporary construction easement of approximately 0.156 acres on the back side of the campus. So as you enter the campus, if you veer hard off to the left to the new entrance in the bus lot and you follow that backwards, you just keep taking a straight line to the back of the campus, that's where it borders Sweetwater Hills, that subdivision, and that's where the gas line currently runs, is through the backside of Sweetwater Hills. It doesn't run on our property. But what they're requesting is this easement so that they can access the gas line that was damaged during Hurricane Helene last year. The company anticipates beginning work in April of 2026 and is requesting use of this easement through December 31st of 2026. The final page in the documents that are linked here on the agenda shows the payment that they are offering the board, and that payment for this temporary use is $4,711.20. So happy to answer any questions that you have about this easement.
So how are they, I'm assuming, wanting to access from west?
No, ma'am. I checked
Okay.
with them on that. They will access the gas line from the Sweetwater Hills and the
So
other
they're not going to be
properties.
coming in and out of West's property in the, okay.
No, they will not. They're just going to use this as an area to lay down materials and to park equipment while they do the repair work.
Okay.
Not going to move the lines or anything? They're not asking for an
No,
easement to
their
move lines or anything?
initial contact with us was to ask for an easement to reroute the gas line. I told them I was not interested in that.
Good.
That it had a route that it ran. They had a right of way to do that. This request is for them to have working room to come in and do the construction, which, after talking with Chad Dillon, he's very comfortable with that. If there's not a fence back there, it's not going to destroy anything. They have to put it back to like condition. And the last thing that we had them add was an end date. They had an open-ended contract initially, and we asked that they put an end date on there.
So this is just essentially a lay-down yard for them?
Yes, sir.
Lay down working room.
So on the first page, I see that we're getting paid $4,700 or whatever it is, and clearly this easement was written by an attorney. Not this attorney, but an attorney. But it says, "Know all men by these presents that for and in consideration of the sum of $10."
So
Yes,
that-
please speak just regular layman to.
Yeah, so that is prehistoric language that is still used for easements. Don't ask me why. And I had the
You
same
also say
question.
huzzah after that.
Exactly. That's right, that's right. It had been a secret handshake. So I did ask the same question, and that's why the $4,000 is clearly identified. So that is just standard language for an easement, but for the use of that property, you are being paid just over $4,000. And that is binding.
And that-
So I would, this is a legal opinion, I would just ignore that first sentence. It doesn't change the fact that you're being paid $4,000, over $4,000.
And then I saw that we have 10 days if something happens to the land, from the date that it happens to.
And I also asked about, they said they don't put back vegetation and trees, and apparently that's not a problem. I asked about that.
Yeah, what are we doing there? 'Cause they're gonna eat it up.
So that is a heavily wooded area.
Okay.
I checked with Mr. Dillon in terms of the trees. He doesn't have concern about the loss of the trees in terms of it impacting us at any point in time. His only concern was just about potential erosion that could result. And so it does say in the easement that they grade it back as best they can under the circumstances. And so that would be the one piece that we would just make sure at the end that it isn't going to create an erosion issue.
And that is up to you. I mean, you could approve this contingent on them replanting trees. I mean, this hasn't been approved yet.
You know, it's just a big corner there. Now, my next question, Ms. Campbell asked it about access and right-of-way access. So they're going to be accessing it from the new development or from Sweetwater Hills?
I imagine potentially both as they repair the line, because it does run down through to the new development there off of 191. And so whatever right-of-ways they currently have in place, I assume are going to be the right-of-ways that they are using to access the lines. I asked explicitly last week with the contact that I've worked with, do you anticipate entering from our property? And the answer I received was no.
Yeah, I just don't want heavy trucks running on that and going back there and.
No.
Especially during school and.
Well, and the other part of that too is if they're, I guess just putting in place that, if they're hanging out there on their lunch breaks and everything else, that they're, there's a school there and what they're doing and,
That will not be allowed.
yeah.
That was going to be.
What they're purchasing is the ability to get on your property as they repair the pipeline, and that's it.
So I would like to add something to the effect of it would be repaired to a like condition, because they're going to go in and they're going to tear out every single thing that's within that little 96 by 70 foot area. It's going to be, because to have a laydown yard, it's got to be somewhat level. There can't be trees and roots. And so it's just going to be a bare patch of whatever sitting back there.
Well, does that encroach on the outdoor classroom area? Where that, no?
But still,
And board members too, is this where they're going to do the laydown yard, is this a visual area for that neighborhood? Will people be able to see it?
it's their backyard. You can see the
Okay.
Sweetwater Hills.
Because obviously, this is not a legal issue, it ends up being more a political issue, is if they do remove trees on your property and you don't require that there be some replanting, you're going to hear about it from the residents. It's not going to be your legal issue, but they will look to you and say, well, why didn't you ask them to at least replant some new trees?
Absolutely, because you can look at the plat and you can see the right-of-way that they already have, but I mean, directly behind it, you've got two houses on Sweetwater Hills Drive and Fox Valley Court that are going to be looking directly into this. So there's a house, and they're going to be staring right into it.
I agree. I think it's kind of like opening up the back door and leaving it open. So I would like to see some trees planted back, some sizable trees.
Well, if you have great concern, we can say no.
I don't have great concern. I mean,
Leave it like you found it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to leave it like they found it because those are 80-foot trees, right? But, I mean, it needs to, it can't be bare mud just sitting there in
Well,
the
because
back
I'm
of
sure
that.
the residents of Sweetwater don't, well, I mean, there's a reason there's woods between that property and those trees haven't been removed.
And can you put language in there that they cannot access that property from the school?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
I
we
mean,
can confirm that.
I would like that.
Yeah, because temporary construction easements usually have pretty broad language about them getting to the easement area, so we can tighten that up. So
And I know it's going to be hard for them too. The only way it really looks like they can is from Sweetwater Hills and maybe that new development, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to try to get back there to some degree.
Well, and what liability for any damage or theft that might potentially happen to that, does anything fall on us at all? Or do they take all liability for leaving their stuff there?
Oh, no, we would not have any liability if their stuff was stolen. Yeah, we're just giving them the right to go onto our property. We're making no other promises. Good question. So I'm hearing, Mr. Superintendent, that the board is considering approving this subject to amendments to it to return the property to like condition as far as vegetation and trees, and to also confirm that they will not be accessing the temporary construction area over our property. And that number 3, they and their workmen will not otherwise be on our property for any reason at any time. Is there anything else other than those 3? I know
Anything else?
Tawana will help me remember all 3.
Is there anything else that we should be looking out for?
No, those are the only ones I saw, is the impact of them, and then the fact that they weren't going to replant trees, and I knew that Mr. Taylor was going to bring that up to you.
And the end date is
Yeah, I believe your superintendent already put that in there, is
Yeah.
the end of December.
And I see that December 31st, 2026, but that can't leave that contract.
Yeah, he's addressed that already.
Yeah.
So I think these are all very, extremely reasonable and very typical, all these changes.
Great.
Okay, do I have a motion based on those 3
Goes to the general fund.
go ahead.
Hold on, she's got a question.
Oh, okay.
So where does the $4,700 go?
Let me double check that real quick, because it may have to go into capital since it's for an easement. My memory is it has to go into our capital fund, but I can check that if you'd like me to. It's only, I tell you what, why don't I follow up with the superintendent rather than, but I'm pretty sure it has to go into capital.
But it would come to your local funds, is what it would come to.
I was going to say, I move what Chris said.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion carries with those 3 stipulations changed. Okay, Mr. Taylor, capital update.
Okay, so for this month's capital update, again, I'll start with the projects that are in-house led by our maintenance department. And so the first one, classroom HVAC unit replacement at Upward Elementary. This was an item on this year's capital outlay that you all approved as part of our budget. And that was a single classroom at Upward Elementary where the unit wasn't strong enough to condition that space appropriately. And so that has been rectified by placing a new unit in there that can meet the needs of that space more appropriately. But that is completed. A second project that is now in progress is a phone system transition. Over the past several years, we have started transitioning some of our schools over to VoIP phones, or phones over IP, over the internet. but that has been a slow process. AT&T has motivated us to expedite that process because starting in January, AT&T is going to significantly raise the rates on our old-fashioned landlines. And so it has become financially important for us to transition all of our other facilities, 10 of which are schools, over to complete internet-based phone systems. And so we submitted or created an RFQ to collect qualifications from companies interested, had a very good turnout on that. And from that, True IP was selected to become the new phone vendor for the school system. And so they're in the process of transitioning currently all of our elevators, and I believe that work probably is completed as of today, over to internet-based phone lines. They're transitioning fax lines at all of our sites, and then the sites that still have landlines, the CO being one of them as well, over to voice over IP.
So all of those are going to be VoIP at that point. So when the internet goes down, which it never does in Henderson County, right? How will our schools be able to contact folks, especially in places like Rugby, west below the hill? I know we've got some schools that are really, really struggling with cell phone service. How do we assure their safety at those particular schools?
A great question. And I'll let Mr. Atkins jump in on anything that I misspeak about, but he has a collection of cell phones that do work at places like Rugby, because we've had to use it at Rugby before in the past year, especially after Hurricane Helene. Rugby got hit several days where the internet wasn't working. And so Mr. Atkins is quick to respond when that happens. Whether it's the middle of the night, he sends out messaging letting us know that the internet's down, and then he steps in to help facilitate that.
Just to help, like a couple weeks ago, Hendersonville High had a couple days of outage. So when we deploy those, if it's the right scenario, we can forward the phone calls that would go to Hendersonville High's numbers inbound to that cell phone. And it also gives them outbound capability as well, to give them at least some communication level. It's not going to be full capacity of like if 100 people call, it's going to get a busy signal and some things like that. But to try to navigate just a little bit of communication to help get through that situation.
Grant, share what that technology is, just so people understand it's not your normal cell phone.
So the places that we've done that with is it's FirstNet is a service, so it's the same thing the Sheriff's Department uses as far as their primary communication. And there's different variations of that, but that's the one we've been using when we ran into this.
So it was a rhetorical question. I knew the answer to it because I was actually there the day that somebody cut a line or something to the AT&T wireless, and we were using the sat phones to be able to talk to anybody. But I think it's a deeper discussion that really we need to start having with the county commissioners, and that a lot of our school systems are not covered by cell phone service.
Right.
And it becomes, you have one person, a principal, who has a cell phone. You have the SRO who has their capability, but then you've got 1,000 other people in that school that have no ability to talk to anybody at any point in time. So I really think that we need to push our county commissioners and for some of these other organizations that are making millions of dollars on cell phone service in our community, and put a tower up above Rugby on top of that mountain. Or
First week of school, 3 days in a row, they had no service.
Right. Right. I mean, if you go to certain parts of Rugby, you are not getting, you cannot use your cell phone. It is absolutely dead, and it's a mile to the city line. I'm not really worried about Hendersonville. They've got pretty good cell service here, but if you go to Edneyville, you go out to Dana sometimes. I lived near Dana. I mean, cell service wasn't great all the time.
Yeah.
But we need to push as a school system to have full cell service for our schools, because the internet will go out. It's going to happen.
Well, and from a county standpoint, Starlink has been a huge conversation in
Right.
every other meeting.
Sure.
So is that something that's going on, with the school system, with some of these schools that aren't working, that have horrible cell phone service?
It's in my back pocket if we had to get down that road. It's faster for us to deploy some of these other options, but it just depends on what the scenario is, or if we went to deploy one of those and that's not going to work, because not all these sites have had VoIP to where we've had to deploy one of these in every one of these locations. So we'll kind of have to figure out some of these as we go, of which option is going to work the best. Going back to the cell phone part of that, I was in a meeting. It had county folks and city folks and people from all over the region. And then emergency management came post Helene to just kind of like talk through like what it was like once we were a little bit past it. But one of the things that they had us do outside of the Helene thing necessarily, but just in general, because it's been an ongoing conversation about the cellular service, is they had a bunch of push pins and markers, but we drew parts all over the Henderson County map of like where the problem areas. And I've been sending one of my network engineers to something the county's been running, but there's a meeting they've been running, and they sometimes get some of these folks involved from some of these carriers to try to keep pushing that narrative forward of trying to make improvements there, because there's just problem areas that continue to try to get some work on them.
No, there's tons of problem areas in Henderson County, but I think for us specifically, we need to focus on our schools and the cell phone service that there. I mean, Rugby should not have a cell phone problem. And I don't know if this is something we should direct the superintendent to talk to the county manager about. But we've got a whole mountain behind Rugby that we own as a school system that can easily, a cell phone tower can be placed there. I would like to know if we have other areas in our county or in our school system where the schools don't have cell phone service that well. I know there's a couple that are bad. Let me know.
Oh, Flat Rock's horrible. North Apple Valley. Rugby's horrible. You can't do anything at the football field at West.
Right.
I'll continue to think, but those are the big ones that we struggle with.
So I would like for us to engage with the county on how can we get Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, whoever, to lease some land to them, to slap a tower up at some of these locations so that we have better cell phone service for backups to when inevitably internet will fail.
So there's twofold request to the superintendent to get a good feel for where we do have cell phone issues, how many schools that is, and then to move forward with conversations with the county manager. Grant, appreciate your work with that.
Any other questions with the phone system transition?
So do you feel like before January, this will be completed?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
It will be.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so the next step, once the elevators are completed, the company is currently transitioning the phone numbers over, and it takes time to get every phone number that needs to be ported over to the new system. And of course, they're ordering new phones. They'll come and install the new phones, and then once all the phones are installed and the numbers are ready to be transitioned, all in a moment, it'll switch from one phone working to the new phone.
Okay, thank you.
The final project that we're working through continues to be the softball field at Hendersonville Middle School, for the sinkhole that is there. As I mentioned last month, we were exploring at that time the different options. The one option that we believe is the best for us to move forward with is the one where we go with the company that's going to insert a liner. It is a resin material that they can insert in there, and then through steam it hardens, and then it essentially replaces the pipe itself. Even though that pipe will remain in the ground, it's serving no purpose. The new liner will now take the place of it. The reasons why we believe that is the best, one is just from a warranty standpoint. It is a 5-year warranty in terms of the workmanship, and then it's a 50-year warranty for the product. The second reason is it doesn't disrupt the field. A concern that Mr. Dillon had from a facility standpoint is if we dig that field up to put in a new pipe, that doesn't matter how well they pack it, it's going to continue to settle, and we'll continue to chase that over time. And with that being a field that is used for Hendersonville Middle School softball team, that's something we would like to avoid if at all possible. The liner is a more expensive approach. We anticipate that cost being around $83,000 to do. But again, that's the one that we believe is the best approach at this time.
So when can we get it done and when will it be completed? Get it started and then completed.
The initial conversation we've had with them is that it need to be completed by mid-January, and they do not have concerns with that.
Get it done.
Because I knew, again, last month you had that question about making sure that it would be ready for them to be able to use at the start of their season.
Absolutely.
We also asked them about temperature and needing it to be a certain temperature because of the season that we're heading into or the evening that we're having right now. And they let us know that it goes in cold and they steam it. So they control the temperature to install it. So it doesn't matter what the temperature is. Oh, the other option too is if you do a pipe, it's a 1-year warranty, workmanship and pipe. So,
50 years.
right. Right. So that is why we're moving forward in that.
Yeah, the sooner we can get that track hoe off of that field and cover that dirt back up and get that pipe moving down to the creek would be the better.
Yes, we agree.
It does.
And it's
We
here,
know.
it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah.
All right. So there were, again, just the pictures from last month that I showed you again of the compromised pipe. All right. From an MRTS standpoint, was mentioned last month with the bus garage that the county did go through the process of an RFQ for an architect. LS3P was selected, and so since our last meeting to where we're at today, we are now awaiting the contract approval from the commissioners for LS3P. That should be on the mid-month agenda for the commissioners. Once that gets approved, then it'll take a couple of weeks for that contract to get finalized at the county level. And once it's finalized, we'll be ready to begin our conversation. So really excited to see that ball continuing to move forward.
And will any of the board members, the Joint Facilities Committee, be involved in that?
Yes, we can, we can make sure that happens. But we are being involved at every step, and I've already actually started talking with Maggie about what it is that we're looking for. I saw her at the county commissioners meeting the other week.
The next is the HVAC system at Atkinson. Again, that was originally going to be a 3-phase project last year. Phase 2 did not get started in time to where it became just make more sense to go ahead and combine Phase 2 and Phase 3 for this school year. So the design work is finished for those 2 phases. It does have to receive DPI approval. Once they approve it, then the county will put that work out for bid. And so hopefully that'll happen. By when?
Yeah.
Sometime. So again, that's where that project is at. The HVAC control replacement project at Sugarloaf and all of our middle schools, North Henderson, West Henderson, is in progress, making great progress within that work. And then the roofing projects at East Henderson and West Henderson, this actually was roofing projects from last fiscal year's MRTS, and that was cafeteria and at East, and then the cafeteria next building at West, and both of those are now complete. And we'll soon enough be starting the roofing projects for this current fiscal year's MRTS. Any questions?
So once HVAC is done, is West getting a break for a little while?
I believe we are at a point where, yes, the big projects are going to, in terms of roofing, East High is where a lot of the next roofing work is going to be done, probably for the next couple of years. But West High is pretty much finished with the big stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Sosha, you're up.
Are you still awake over there, Bernie?
Yeah. No, can you put Carl's pipe picture back up? I feel like that's kind of like our budget. Washington, Raleigh, it's just like a broken pipe. I don't know. So got a couple reports for you tonight, this evening, whatever, it's dark night. Local current expense and other restricted funds through October 31. Our revenues are $15,063,000 and expenditures at $10,996,000. We are on track with where we are supposed to be going right now. The change this year is almost exactly within a few $100s of the increase this year as it was at this point last year. The only difference we have is that our revenues are down in Fund 8, the other restricted funds, because of the loss of indirect costs from the ESSER funds, which are no longer in existence, child nutrition, and the fact that the federal Medicaid payments have been delayed because of everything that's going on up there. The other report is for the enterprise funds through September 30th, 2025.
The child nutrition program, first quarter revenues at $1,799,000 and expenditures at $1,745,000, which currently is a net positive of 53, which is a change of 46,600 from this quarter last year. The child care program, first quarter revenues at $273,000 and expenditures of $312,000 with a net negative for so far at $38,600. Also a change from last year. It's an improvement of $33,700 from this quarter last year.
It's an improvement of?
It's an improvement of, yes. Yep. Still in the negative, but it's less negative than it was last year. And for that program, that is expected because July is a heavy negative month because it's a full payroll month when all the revenue was received in June a lot of the revenue was received in June for the summer program. So that's last year's revenue, but we pay everybody in July. So we have a negative in July. So we start kind of behind the 8 ball. Our DHHS and DSS are the revenues that we're going to get for the child care program. So similar in a delay, because it just is a processing thing for there as well.
Thank you for those reports.
And I will say, I was maybe just checking over there, and I'm understanding why things are a little slow in Washington, because they were just voting on the motion to proceed to consider the Appropriations Act. So they did move to proceed with that. That did.
To consider.
That seems to pass, to consider. So yes, getting better. And to that point, we are still moving forward with all of our federal programs. The child nutrition funding is, hopefully things will be progressing quickly now, but for right now, we're on a month-to-month basis getting approval on the USDA reimbursement. So we anticipate that is continuing. That is what I've heard from Raleigh, that's what they're telling us, is that they're not going to approve 3 or 6 months of USDA reimbursements. They're just going to every month say, we'll give you one more month. We'll give you one more month.
So in child nutrition, it looks like we're selling a lot more food outside of the normal meal than at this point last year. Right?
Yes, our revenues, the à la carte sales are definitely up. We are also with the breakfast, now that we're charging for the breakfast, we're certainly seeing.
Because of the Moo Brew.
So
The
you
Moo
put that
Brew
in,
has
I
been.
was just gonna say that.
Say that.
Just gonna say it.
A lot of places.
so you put
that,
that in local source sales for your breakfast?
For the, yes.
Okay.
But yes, the Moo Brews have been very successful. We had to increase their limit on what they could purchase locally so that they can buy more of them, so.
Great.
Thank you, Bernie.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Garrett, General Operations.
Well, I don't have any bad finance jokes. I do too. All right, Madam Chair, members of the board, it's my pleasure to share the General Operations Report for November. It is National Native American Heritage Month and NC Veterans History Appreciation Month, of course, on the eve of Veterans Day. That's very appropriate to share this evening. Tomorrow is Veterans Day holiday, no school for all students and staff. Strange calendar trivia, that is the only day we cannot go to school by law. You cannot go to school on Veterans Day. You can go to school on Christmas Day. We're not going to, but you can. November 21st is National Substitute Teacher Day. November 26th to 28th is our Thanksgiving break, so that'll be no school for all students and staff on that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. December 3rd will be your next round of school board tours, where we will go to Atkinson Elementary, Mills River Elementary, and West Henderson High School. Your next regular business meeting will be on December 8th at 4 o'clock, where you will go through the officer election process once again, as is normal at your December meeting. We have an early dismissal on December the 12th for our flex calendar schools. Traditional calendar, don't get excited, yours is coming. December 15th is an optional teacher workday for our flex calendar schools, no school for flex students. December 15th through the 19th are our high school testing dates. I'm sure every student has that circled on their calendar and is building that momentum right now. And then December 19th will be early dismissal at 12 p.m. For our traditional and early college calendar heading into our Christmas break. Winter break, Christmas break for all staff and students is December 22nd through January the 1st. We have an optional work day coming back on January the 2nd, and no school for students. And then January 5th will be the start of second semester. So all students will return on January the 5th. And certainly we hope everyone has a wonderful Veterans Day and a wonderful Thanksgiving, because we will not be together again until we get to our December meeting.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Can I ask one question? And sorry, it's probably more of a question for you, but it is probably capital updates. When we were at Hendersonville Middle, we were in the band room where we were talking about the room that was storing all the instruments. Were you?
So I contacted Chad Dillon when we walked out. He had not had a request to look at it. I think they were going to wait until the next summer when that was a problem. But I had him go ahead and meet with Miss Allison, so they have met and are working on a plan.
Thank you.
So there is a mildew problem in part of the building when it sits empty buildings are not great. And there's a moisture issue that has been gathering on one side of the hallway, not on the one side of the hallway is fine. The other side of the hallway evidently has some airflow issues and some ground moisture issues. So that has been manifested not anywhere except on those instruments when they store them. So the cases and stuff will come back and have some mildew on them sometimes during the summer. So it's really an airflow issue. So I went ahead and got a hold of Mr. Dillon and had him go ahead and jump on that with Miss Allison.
Thank you, sir. It is a nice closet.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.